Hello, and welcome to the second week of class, which is actually, I'm calling Module 1 because it's not the intro. And that's because the reference questions and the first discussion questions are this week. So I wanted all the numbers to match. So this is not the first lecture, but I'm calling it the first lecture. Anyway, I'm back here with Cece, the pug. And she insists on sitting in my lap when I'm working from home. So I think she's going to just sit here through the whole thing. Anyway, this class is about the reference interview, which you'll notice in the discussion. You have to kind of go through a sort of short course in what the reference interview is. This is information that should be useful even if you don't go into law librarianship. The reference interview is something that public service librarians and anybody who sits at the reference desk who answers questions posed by patrons, whether on chat or email, should have to deal with. It's kind of, we call it the reference interview, that's librarian jargon. But basically, it's when you have a person who presents an information need, and how do you deal with trying to figure out what that information need is so that you can help direct them to find that information. And there's actually a lot of books written on this. I used to make people read a lot of boring articles, and I found that really, you can just sum it up in a few short slides. So that's what I'm going to present today. We're also going to talk a little bit about patrons, and something that I found was really true in a law firm setting, dealing with patron status. But I think it's true in any kind of, I don't know, customer service to think about. And then also, we're going to talk a little bit about the internet, because the internet is really everybody's starting place, and I don't think that's a bad thing. So just some things to keep in mind about the internet and about searching on the internet, things that probably you're more aware of than I am even. So it's kind of one of those things that you probably have more or at least as much experience as I do, but I feel like I have to go over it. And that's everything that's going to be in the lecture today. So let's see. The next slide. So, oh, and we're going to talk a little bit about privacy. Just touch on it. It's especially important when you deal with patrons. But I've found that a lot of people that I work with and that I have worked with really know a lot about library ethics. And that is something that I must have missed in library school, and I had to really catch up on. So there's just a little bit of librarian ethics included in there. So that wraps up this slide, and so I'm on to the next video.